Welcome to Cosmic Imprint, a podcast bringing you weekly goodness as the home of lightworkers, new paradigm leaders, sensitive souls, magical beings, spiritual seekers, and both spiritual CEOs alike, who are ready to live life in alignment with your own soul's truth and who are here to buck the trends, color outside the lines, thriving in this lifetime's incarnation. Join me each week for conversations about all things human design, weaving my own soul magic where I'll share my intuitive gifts, love of all things metaphysical, manifestation, mindset, fifth dimension, spirit guides, light beings, and beyond. Let's explore your cosmic imprint together. Hands up, who has ever started on a spiritual journey, a self-development journey, an inner work journey, only to find that the issue you thought was the issue that you were working on turned out to not be the problem all the freaking time. Yeah, I can put my hand up and safely say that that has been my own experience in my own path, my own journey, starting out basically completely on a different path, thinking, years ago while I was still heavily entrenched in diet culture and thinking that my journey was starting as a weight loss journey, only to find very quickly that my body appearance, size, shape, wobble, whatever you want to call it, was never the fucking problem at all. It was all the inner work. It was all the self-development. It was all part of my healing of conditioning. It was all part of my stories I was telling myself, understanding that I had to go back and do all of that inner work, all of that deconditioning, unraveling all of those layers. So I am just extremely excited to bring you today's guest, the wonderful Jacqui Drew, who is a 1-3 Sacral Authority manifesting generator. And we are sharing a conversation today that is all about creating the life of your dreams and how human design can be such a powerful way of connecting to your soul calling in the way that is most aligned and correct for you. And I loved when Jacqui brought up, you'll hear us have a bit of a mind-blowing moment when we go over that phrase, the issue is never the issue. It was like, that's the crux of it for so many of us on our own journeys, our own healing journeys, our own, soul exploration, soul calling journeys. And chances are how you've ended up right here sharing space and time with me on the podcast today. So thank you as always for being here. And today's episode, we are having what I feel was such a beautifully relatable conversation because Jacqui is just such an incredible goddess of a soul. She's at that stage in her own journey where she is pivoting, expanding, going into new, incredible directions of her soul calling, while also having the awareness and the wisdom and the understanding of her own human design to say, well, actually, as a Mani Gen, I can do many different things. I can wear many different hats, and that is perfectly okay. And if you get anything out of this episode, I really hope that you can take away that permission slip to, especially as a Mani Gen, to embody your truth in all the different myriad forms that can be, you know. And I think even if you are a different energy type to a Mani-Gen, I still think there is so much value you can get from this episode in terms of the healing journey, the self-development journey, the boundaries, you know, because we dive into some really juicy stuff about healing trauma, learning how to do self-love, you know. So many of us have no idea. And working with things like codependency, how that shows up in our life, living with intention, permission to say no, so many good things. And of course, being a Mani-Gen, Jacqui gets into how as soon as she's been living in her alignment, particularly this year and on her own journey to growing and expanding into this avenue of her soul calling, her right angle cross of consciousness, that timelines have just collapsed in front of her eyes, and how quickly things can move forward and, you know, just quantum leaps, right? It's really mind-blowing when you get into that energetic space of living in your truth and living in your alignment. Now, just before we dive into this episode, I wanted to give you a quick audio run through of Jacqui's human design chart. If you want to check it out, you can visit the show notes page on my website with this episode. The link will be in with the episode below. Now, Jacqui's defined centers, even as a Mani-Gen, she's very open. So she has her sacral and throat chakra defined and linked with that beautiful 3420 manifestation magical channel that is really the Mani-Gen superpower for those who have it. And she also has her G center defined. Now, she has a lot of openness. Like I say, she's got an undefined root, undefined spleen, undefined crown, and then 3 open centers. And I actually don't even know in this episode whether I picked up on the third one. I might have only got like blindsided by the 2. So she has a completely open solar plexus, completely open heart, and completely open ajna. So this woman is a Mani-Gen, but as she talks about, has lived with a lot of conditioning over the years, has had to face down a lot of that inner, you know, soul searching work to really dive in to do the deconditioning in those places where she is so open, so undefined. She's a really magical human being, and I know you're going to love this conversation. And she's also got 4, the quad left on her arrows, all 4 face to the left. So as I say, that's a little audio descriptor of Jacqui's human design. If you want to check out what her chart looks like in real life, head to the page in the show notes. The link's there for you. And while you're there, you can check out my website and how it has looking super duper fresh. My wonderful VA, Neris, has been working her magic behind the scenes, revamping the website. It's new, it is sparkly, it is shiny. I am obsessed with it. And I can't wait for all the goodness that we are continuing to roll out here in Roseland. There are some really exciting things coming up. We've got some masterclasses in the works, some mini trainings over in the Facebook group. I've been doing weekly live deep dives into certain areas of your human design charts. And it's just feeling so amazing to be empowering more and more and more of you amazing, incredible souls with this knowledge, with this deep understanding. I am of 100%, 100,000% of the opinion that human design is not a modality that should be kept behind locked gates and inaccessible. This is something that in this new paradigm that we're moving so fucking rapidly into at the moment, that this is something that just needs to be in our day-to-day language, our understanding, our lexicon. You know, we need more and more people to be native in the language of things like human design and gene keys, not sitting behind some barrier to entry that is like a 4-year degree you have to study. no, like that is, for some people that will work. They want to do that sort of really in-depth, rigorous training and certification. But from my vantage point and from my view and the way I see things, it needs to be accessible. It needs to be in language that is easily relatable. It needs to be presented in a way that resonates for people. So yeah, that's my little hot topic on human design. And as I say, I just feeling so lit up to be sharing as much as I can within my mental projector energetic alignment. You know, it's all coming, and I'm so thankful for you being here, so grateful for you. If you're not already if we're not already connected online on my social media, I'm on Instagram, Facebook. You can find me at Rose Toshri. If you want to come and join the Facebook group, remember there's always the link in the show notes to come and join, called Cosmic Imprint. And if you want to be in the queue to hear all the exciting new things coming up, then hop on my email list. I would love to have you there. As you know, with me, I am not just spamming out people every 5 seconds. That's not how I roll. But you will get some really beautiful value that I only share with my email list community. So once again, as always, thank you for choosing to listen in, and let's go and have a fucking mind-blowing conversation with the wonderful Jacqui Drew. I'm sitting here with my cup of coffee in hand, and one of my favorite things to kind of semi-interrogate my guests who come on the podcast about, because I love digging in to all the juicy details, is to find out about your morning ritual or routine, how you started your day this morning. And now I know you have a fucking busy home life, mum life, entrepreneur life. So I would love if you can share how this sort of looks and feels for you, because I think a lot of our listeners are going to really resonate with this one.
So this morning was actually a little different to how most of my mornings go. So normally I get up about maybe 5:30 and I put the jug on, and this new thing I've been trying is tongue scraping. And
Ooh, yeah, I'm all about it too.
Yeah, I've heard so many cool things about it. So I thought my morning ritual doesn't have much physical aspects to it. It's more like a mental, spiritual kind of routine. So I've brought that in. So this morning, my son actually jumped in bed with me and gave me some morning snuggles, which were so delicious. Yeah, so I got up, I did my old tongue scrapey and had a coffee, and I sit and I light a candle, and then I meditate for about 10-15 minutes, which is really nice. And then I pull some cards. And then generally after pulling some cards, I journal on what these cards and how they fit and resonate with me at the time. Yeah. And then after that, really just plan my day, put some action steps into place for the rest of the day to sort of work towards my vision that I'm building, drop the kids at school, and then try and get some movement in.
Wow. That sounds pretty chill, for the fact that obviously you've got kids running around getting ready for school. Have you had to have those sorts of conversations with the rest of your family to be like, this is my time, if you need help with something, mum's not available? Or do you have that kind of open door policy that sort of says, you can come and ask me, but please don't expect me to get up off my meditation pillow?
No, the kids have learnt, and the husband, they've learnt that when mum's headphones are on, you don't interrupt.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And it's not for long, right? It's like, how long would you say you meditate for on average?
It's like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I just chuck on some like high vibrational frequency music as well after I've meditated, so that I can journal and just really feel into what my body is like, the energy that my body needs for the day.
I love that. And I'm curious, what kind of meditation process do you follow? Do you use guided meditations, or do you just some music? What's your theme?
Normally I just chuck on the Insight Timer app. Love Insight Timer. There's so many really cool guided meditations on there. Yeah, generally for like a 10-15 minute meditation, I'll just, if I'm feeling like I just want some morning like positive uplifting, I will like search for something along those lines. If I feel like I need some like inward self-care or self-love, I'll just like look for something like that. Yeah, there's just so much cool meditations on there.
Yeah, and I think that's really great, sort of the practical side of it, right? Because I know for myself, I struggled for a long time feeling like, because I needed a guided meditation to keep my brain occupied. I defined ajna that was out like doing its own thing. I felt like I was a failure at meditation because all I'd sort of come across was all these yogis and, you know, gurus who were like, no, just sit in stillness and sit in quietness. And I was like, well, why the fuck am I not able to do that? Why is my brain so like on its own thing?
I find I need the guided ones because, oh my God, managing life, my brain is always on the go. And so I need something to focus on. And I find that these guided meditations really like tunnel vision me into this place of stillness. Otherwise, my brain just goes wild.
Yes. And I think that's so empowering, right? To go, actually, you know what? It's not that I am not succeeding with this practice of mindfulness and setting my intention and keeping my vibration, you know, at the frequency that I desire to have it. It's going, actually, you know what? This is my like magical concoction that I need and works for me. And as you say, creating those boundaries with your family to go, I have to put myself first in the morning, and then I get to show up and be the best mum that I can be.
Yeah, 100%. And it also has been a huge thing for my daughter. My daughter is 12, and so she's at that real pivotal moment, and she has told me the things that I do, like carving out these specific times and routines for myself, has really empowered her and inspired her to do the same. And it makes me feel so good that I can help the next generation and like her feel empowered, like it's okay to take time for yourself and to, you know, put yourself on like a really good track for the day. Like I just fucking love it.
And as you say, it's that whole thing of, you know, particularly for young people, for children, they don't necessarily so much follow what you say to do. They see what you are actually and embodying and being, and they can see how beneficial it is, even if maybe they can't quite put it into words. That's really beautiful. I mean, obviously she's been able to put it into words to say, I can see how powerful this is. Amazing.
It's amazing. Even my 6-year-old son, he'll say, oh, my tummy tells me to, or my head tells me to. It is just so fucking delicious. Like, I love it.
Amazing. Have you looked into what their designs are for your kids?
I know my son is a mani gen as well.
Yeah.
My daughter, I think, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure she's a projector.
Right. Yeah. So, and you'd probably be able to straight away see the difference, right?
Yeah. My son is like a mini me, 100% mini me.
And you go, God damn it.
Yeah. But he's just so gorgeous. Both of my kids are bloody gorgeous. Yeah.
And that's the freeing permission, right? To go, okay, you're a mani gen. I know it. So I know how to thrive, and just allowing that permission to be like, yeah, you can be all like bouncing off the walls. You can have a million different directions in one day. I don't expect you to sit quietly and be still, because these are all the things, right, that you probably experienced growing up as a mani gen, that was like, why can't you just sit still in the corner, be the good kid that doesn't, you know, make the noise.
Yeah.
Bring the noise, I should say.
It just makes so much sense. Like, yeah.
Honestly, parenting with human design, like that's a whole nother tangent we could go into. But so when we connected first time earlier on this year, we got together to do a reading, and well, I guess the rest is history. We were chatting a bit before we started recording this episode, and it's been so exciting for me personally. I've loved watching your evolution and your growth over the past few months. with this year, you know, despite all the chaos that this year
Oh
has
my
thrown
God.
us,
Yeah.
you've just been continually taking those steps forward. And I would love for everyone who's listening in, can you share a little bit about your beautiful self with us all?
Yeah. So I don't even really know where to start. Like all the things just want to jump out.
Manny Jen, right? I always like, I should probably tweak this question for the Manny Jen. It's like, where do you want me to begin?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So, okay. So I'll start where I'm at now and I'll kind of work my way backwards. So I don't like to label anything, but I feel myself as a self-love soul coach. And I just really truly believe that everyone is a conscious creator, that when you connect with your truth and you build the confidence to follow it, it's just like a switch, you know, that goes off and you just like unleash this potential that everyone has. And so I got to this place by, my journey started as a weight loss journey. I was extremely overweight. I was depressed. I was on anxiety medication. Yeah. And I was just really unhappy. And at first I was like, right, I'm going to lose weight. Like I need to put myself first. And that's what I thought was the missing link. And so I went on this massive weight loss journey and lost 57 kilos. And I got to like my goal weight and was like, why the fuck am I still not happy? Like I just didn't feel there was something missing. And then I just started noticing little problems popping up with my husband in particular, the real intimacy, sexual chemistry, that sort of thing. And I'd been following a few coaches online. I jumped on to a program with a coach in November last year. And yeah, that's where everything, the inward journey, connection to myself really started to take off. I connected the dots of always been overweight since I was 10 to sexual trauma, which I'd completely subconsciously blocked out of my entire life. And that was like, once I knew that, it was like a game changer. There was more than weight loss. It was more than a weight loss thing. Yeah. So I went on this big inward journey of reconnecting to my body, to myself. And yeah, so I figured out in that journey that I really wanted to help. Like I need people to know, other women to know, that it is so empowering when you can grab life by the balls and just like go for it. Like, you know, there's more to life than a scale number. And that's what I had defined myself by, was how much I weighed. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I can resonate so much with your journey because, as you say, so often these steps towards self-love come from that very outward appearance based journey.
Yeah.
Going, well, if I do this, this, and this to, you know, change my physical outward appearance, whether that's weight loss, whether that's any other kind of, you know, physical changes, and then suddenly get to that point where you realize actually it wasn't about this at all. It was all the inside part, and you can get to those goals and be in an even worse place mental health wise than you probably were at the start. And I know for me, that was my experience of going, did all the things, lost the weight, and then realized that actually I was in such a self-destructive pattern that it had to go, I just had to completely transition away from that being the goal and go, well, actually, I've got all this inner healing work layers to get through. So
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And my coach really helped me see that it's more the inner work that and healing that needs doing, that it's not a scale number. Because looking back, the weight gain was a huge factor in my sexual trauma that I'd been through as a 10-year-old. And, you know, these are the patterns that I had sort of lived by through my teenage years, of just being really promiscuous and looking for all that validation from a man through sex, because that's how I had thought, you know, life was. And once I sort of connected those dots and rediscovered like the love for myself and my worth, that was just a fucking game changer. Like, yeah, there's more to you than a number on a scale.
And
Yeah.
I really honor you for coming and sharing that side of you, because it is, you know, it's such a personal journey, but obviously that's what you have identified is where your story and your journey, rather than being something that holds you back or leaves you, you know, sort of hiding from that side of you, you've gone, let's take this experience, let's take this journey and transition it into being something that you can then pave the way to help others and guide them through. Because there are so many women who need like yourself to guide them through that same path.
100%. I sort of see it like my pain is my purpose. You know, like what I've been through, yes, it's painful and it's a shitty thing to have to go through, but it's so empowering as well, because it's just like, yeah, look what the fuck I've overcome, and I know that you can too. So let's fucking work together and like make life incredible, you know?
Oh, but like music to my ears, and spoken like a good 3-line profile experience, right? That it's gone, actually, you know what? The shit that I've been through, the downs, the ups, the roller coaster, that 3-line that you've got in your profile means that you're someone who's here to live those experiences and, just like you say, transform them and reframe them into something that is a strength and is a gift that you're here to share. And I love that you brought in that word purpose, because that's, you know, that's what I'm all about as well, saying these things that we are here to navigate, all part and parcel, right? Everything is connected.
100%. I was to a point where I would refuse to go anywhere, do anything unless I had someone with me. I was codependent on everybody around me. I, you know, refused to do anything. Like, I just enjoy life in general. Because of, I didn't realize what was holding me back from these things. And once that, like, I seen it and that switch was like flicked, it was just like, fuck that. Like, that is not a life, you know? I just felt like I was surviving, really.
Can you pinpoint, and I know it's probably not as simple as one thing, but are you able to look back now and pinpoint anything in particular that was that moment that kind of like flipped that switch for you?
In shifting my direction? I think really, I mean, the sexual trauma that I went through when I was 10 years old, I had completely cut myself off from that. I had completely forgotten about it until my coach sort of, you know, took me back to when my weight gain had started. And it was like, holy fuck, like, whoa, that all happened at the same time.
Wow.
And so, yeah, and that was such a light bulb moment for me, that how these physical traumas store in our bodies. And yeah, I just was so unaware of it. And I think once I knew that, it was like the light bulb that sort of made me realize everything's like a holistic journey, like a piece of everything affects everything.
That's so interesting, because it's almost, I always say, like, you know, these things that we kind of enter into, maybe working with a coach, thinking we're going in for the money mindset or the, you know, weight loss journey or the self-love journey, and come out the other side, like, kind of, you know, like dragged through the head, like, hair all over the place, going, oh my God, I've just really discovered what all the actual stuff I was here for was.
Yeah.
I always joke myself that my journey, like a bit similarly, you know, I entered into working with a coach for like the abundance mindset and manifesting money, came out the other side like with a whole spiritual transformation. It's like, oh, okay, it wasn't about money at all.
Yeah, I love the quote, the issue is never the issue. I love that. It is never the issue.
Yeah. Honestly, that's such a good way to put it. The issue is never the issue. I love that. I think that's going to be the title of this podcast episode, to be honest.
I love it.
As you say, come for the self-love journey, leave with like having healed years and years and years of repressed trauma and experiences. And wow. And just look at what that's unlocked as well for you in that process of like the universe knew what was up, right?
Yeah.
Said, hey, you need to go and work with this coach, even though you don't know why. And here we are.
Yeah. And it's so funny because you seem, I mean, I don't know if must be like a universe thing. You sort of get drawn to the coaches that you know, or the universe knows, that are going to help you the most at that time.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. And that's why it's so important as well for someone like yourself to, as you say, acknowledge the fact that yes, you have things that you've been through, yes, you've had trauma, yes, you've had pain, but you know that there are so many other women out there who need to be able to come and work with someone like yourself who's been there, who's lived it, who's experienced it, because that's the beautiful part of our human existence, right? Is that by sharing more of these stories with each other, we're actually able to unlock and free people and help them heal. And that's just such a gift that you're here sharing. So I celebrate you, because that is
thank you.
Huge. And it's such a huge transition for you, really, in a very short space of time, right?
Yeah, my journey, the inward journey and all of this has only been a year. And it's been very up and down, but amazing at the same time. I just cannot believe where I am now in a year's time. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And it's really, that's probably actually a really good point to touch on, because it just goes to show that some of these things within us and within our design, you know, say for yourself, particularly within your human design as a Manny Gen, and you quite literally have that gift within you. And for anyone who is sort of listening in, you have the 34-20 channel, which is literally the true meaning of manifestation within human design. You know, it's that gift of being able to speak your truth, speak it out into the world, and create it into existence. And by you taking those steps to actually unlock that part of you, I'll say, you know, look at what you've been able to do in a year. Like, you've just gone like timeline smash, like collapse, kind of logical timeline down into like, we've just achieved massive things within the space of weeks and months.
Yeah, it's bloody crazy. I just honestly, I look back a year ago and just think, holy shit, like I'm a complete different person, and I just see the world so differently now. Yeah, it's amazing. So, and I want everyone to see the world with these lenses, you know, like
you know how transformational it's been for yourself, so you can it's like, then we start extrapolating that out and going like, imagine if everyone understood truly how quickly they are able to shift things and transform and heal and move into these desires, like create their desires, like you say, like be that person who, you know, like you said, helps to unleash your potential and like create your reality, which is what you've seen in your own life.
I'm so huge on being a conscious creator, living by intention, and if you want something, then take the fucking action to get there. Because I know a lot of people say, I want this, I want that, and I wish I could have this. And I think the piece they miss is you can actually have that. You just need to want to take the steps to get there. And if it's important, you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And understanding that your steps that you might take can look differently to somebody else's steps, and that is really okay as well. Because I think that's where the depth of understanding and the integration comes in, right? Because you've been able to say, hey, look, I know my unique way of showing up in the world, and that was a huge part of obviously why you were drawn to looking into your human design, because it was going, I need to understand myself and my uniqueness. And my unique way of showing up and creating my reality for who I truly am, rather than somebody else's mold that exactly what you say. Understanding you're a Manny Gen is just like, I can imagine it must be like, mind blown.
Honestly, my mind is on the go all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
But I do know when I fall out of alignment, when I'm trying to do something and there's just this resistance and there's this almost like force and it's just not happening for me. I'm like, right, I mustn't be in alignment with my truth. There's something a little bit out here.
Yeah.
I can bring it back and then go. And the
Yeah.
whole stop, pause, right, okay, cool, we're good. Now we can go.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you have sacral authority as well. So you've got that experience of living with like the answers being within you, right? Rather than outside of you. Your truth is always going to stick its hand up and say, this excites me, this delights me,
Yeah.
this is what I want to go after. And it's that permission slip to go, okay, well, I might already be going after 5 different things right now, but it is okay for me to go after something else as well.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that has been really huge, understanding my human design, is giving myself that permission to pivot and turn if something doesn't feel good anymore. So like a perfect example is my healthcare job. This time last year, I was offered training to upskill and up level, and I said yes. I hadn't known my human design at this point. I had only really started out on my who am I journey. And so I took this training, and I think I lasted 3 months, and it was, honestly, late nights, tears, tantrums, force, so much resistance. And it just got to a point where I just didn't want to do it. And I still had 4 months left of training. And I was like, no, this just isn't me. Because by then I had felt that nudge to go coaching. And I felt the intuition pull, the cosmic breadcrumbs following me to being this soul coach and like self-love coach. And I put my big girl pants on and told my boss, no, I'm not doing the rest of the training. I'm sorry. It just isn't for me anymore. And so it was huge for me to say, no, I can't do this, because my whole life I've signed up to this. I have to do it. I have to finish what I started. And yeah, it's been a game changer to know that I can turn when I feel like it.
Oh, and I can imagine there's so many layers in there of that conditioning going, the one thing I love, like with, Brene Brown talks about a lot with that shame of letting people down and feeling like you say, like, what will the world say if I change direction? I've committed to this thing but everything within me is telling me that it's not for me anymore. And that again comes back to that gift you've got with that 3420 channel, because it's recognizing that gift is at its most magical when it's in the now, right? When you are responding to, what do I want to create in this moment? What is my truth right now? Not the version of me that was showing up yesterday, who maybe said yes to that training, but it's being able to put things down just as quickly as you initiate them, right? Because I'm sure if you look at the big picture of things, was there someone else who was potentially able to come in and take your place doing that sort of training? Or, like these, we don't even know, right? When we go, I'm saying no to something, but it feels all negative. But actually, you know what? That's freeing up space for someone else.
100%. When I let go of this need to finish this training I'd started, it just opened the doors for my rapid expansion into coaching. I've trained as a coach. I have a certificate in coaching, and I'm starting to build my business at the moment. And so it's just really letting that go and putting that aside because it no longer aligned has just really like fucking catapulted me into where I need to be and where I feel pulled to go.
Oh,
it's been amazing.
Yeah, it just, I can feel that, like how powerful that is. And I mean, I'll just touch on as well to paint this picture. I mean, even though you're a Manny Jen, you have a fuckload of openness in your chart. Like, like you've got some powerful centers going on, but you've also got 3 completely open centers, which are your emotional center, which, hello, twins there. Like, I know how
Oh my God.
hard that is. That's all the coping mechanisms, the emotional, codependence, people pleasing, the
Holy
list goes
shit.
on. Also
Mm.
got a completely open heart, which is like sense of self-worth and the motivation to go after your desires that kind of comes and goes, and it's understanding that wave of willpower. And then a completely open ajna, which is also like the mind just potentially being so full of everyone else's opinions and thoughts and X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got an undefined root, spleen, and crown. So it's like you're feeling everything on top of going, this is what my insides are telling me I want to go for and follow, but you're so open to the world around you.
Yes, and I really, really felt that so deeply with the COVID, and being a healthcare worker on the front line day in, day out, having that in your face every day, wearing the PPE. It is so fucking hard and heavy. And it wasn't until I took another look at my human design and realized that I was so open that that's probably why I'm feeling all this heaviness right now. And just to sort of understand that and be like, look, it's okay, it will pass, just look after yourself more, things will get better. But it was definitely a trying time.
And as you say, going and healing all those layers of conditioning and the stored trauma, like you were saying, because all of that openness and is just it's a lot to live with, right? Like I can absolutely like resonate there. It is a lot. And I mean, we've touched on it a little bit, but let's dive into that life of living as you're a 1-3 profile, which we've already touched on with the 3-line life, right? That it means that you've got that real combination of living life as life's, I like to call it life's teacher, right? That one line. You're here to teach. You're here to go, this is what I've learned, investigated, like suddenly deep dive into a topic or training or certification. And this is what I've got to then, this is my gift to then share. In conjunction with you're learning from life's experiences as well, right? You're riding that roller coaster and going, okay, I not only know this thing because I've studied it and I've learned it and I've become qualified in it, but I also have the life experience to back it up of going, this is the shit I've been through. This is the real deal.
Yeah. And bringing them together is really, really cool. Like you don't necessarily need a certificate to be a coach, but for me, I felt so fucking strongly that I needed to have one. It's people's lives that you are helping, and bringing the life experience that I have got into it is just, it's like marries together really well.
And I think that's, again, another really big myth, right? That you're going, actually, you know what? I am that type of person that I am most secure in my leadership role when I've got these things behind me. And as you say, being able to kind of accept and acknowledge that, for someone else, they might be the soul who's come here with just already knowing how to teach things, already knowing what they know. They don't need the certifications, but that doesn't take away from the way you show up and lead and guide others with having those things. Because I think there can be sometimes that sort of, it's almost like it becomes a bit of a negative connotation, right? Of going like, you spent time and money on getting that certification, like, but you didn't do it. And I find this myself with my 6 line, always wants to keep learning things. And I'm a bit similar in that sense of going, I actually now love that side of me who keeps enrolling in various like courses and up leveling and the keeping on adding to what it is that my soul kind of is here to share. I don't see it as a negative thing, and I love that you've gone, this is a really cool part of me.
So taking on all the things all at once it can overwhelm me. I'm not gonna lie, but it's cool. Like I love to do a bit of everything, and know a bit of everything. And that's why becoming a certified coach was so important to me. Was I need that solid foundation to feel supported by myself. I mean, and as a coach, you're here to support others and guide others, but sometimes we forget about supporting and guiding ourselves, and having that foundation of, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Trusting my experience and bringing them together was such a huge deal for me. And once I did that, like, the universe is just nudging me in all the right places, and it popped up and I'm like, yes, let's do this. And that's how I chose to live my life this past year, was just following what felt good, following those breadcrumbs, and it's got me nowhere but fucking amazing places and meeting amazing people.
Yeah. And I'd love if you could explain it just a little bit. I don't know whether you can put it into words, because obviously that sacral authority and that voice inside you is a feeling, but are you able to describe like how that sensation comes through for you? Like when you say, like, following those breadcrumbs and the yeses, is there a way that you can sort of describe that for people listening?
Yeah, so for me personally, I haven't felt too many fuck no's. I know it's a full body fuck yes or a fuck no. And I have only ever felt maybe one or two no ways. But the yeses, to me, they are like almost like butterflies, bubbles in my stomach, and they come in waves, almost like when you go over a hill when you're driving really fast and you lose your stomach.
Wow.
That's what it feels like. And yeah, I've this year really lent wholeheartedly into trusting those. And I mean, I think I went into 2020 with the three words of connection, expansion, and trust. And I feel I've really embodied all of them this year so far, and we still have a month left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You look how that expansion has come with those other things like trust, like you say, of going, actually, you know what? As long as I know what to follow, those factors, the full body experience. And that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because I think it's really valuable that we can all start to share how it looks and feels for us, because while everyone experiences their human design and their authority and things like that differently, I think it's really valuable to help people who, as you say, particularly for women who maybe have either overridden their sacral authority for a long time, who have committed to all the shoulds rather than the yeses, have ignored those no visceral, like you say, those visceral, oh no, this is not for me moments, and gone with the gray in between, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so powerful. So powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, I have like a million more questions I could keep going to. So it's like it just keeps like unfolding. There's so many layers to it, so many layers to it. And I really, really value you for coming and sharing that experience that you've been through. And I just wanted to touch on lastly, what I think is so fucking exciting with your Incarnation Cross, right? Your purpose. And we talked about how, you are here to be someone who basically says, this is what life is all for, right? This is the trust, the leaning into the fact that it's got that kind of spiritual element to it as well, right? Of going, these are the things that we go through, that we grow from, and that you're here to basically take people by the hand and say, it's safe to keep moving forward. And that's what I like. When we sat together and I did your reading, I was just like, this is fucking mind like, it blows my mind every time that people who are already kind of in their purpose, they already know, like, there is no coincidence as to why you're doing what you're doing.
And I think when we sat down for my reading, I had only just sort of come out and said, this is what I want to do. I want to be a coach. I want to help and guide, support people, move through these things they've been through, like I had been through. Because like you said, there's just so many fucking women out there that are silenced by fear and not knowing, the lost, and this just being scared of, I want these things, but I don't know how to get there. And it's like, it's okay. Like, we can do this together, you know?
Oh, that just gave me chills. We can do this together. I love that. I love that. Well, okay. Where can everybody get into your world? What have you got coming up that is on your big manifestation, co-creation, universally guided world that you are in? How can people get on board with your world?
So I am mostly on Instagram. I have a Facebook page, but I don't really use it as much anymore. I feel really pulled to Instagram. Instagram and I we have this love-hate relationship where we're friends and then we're not friends. But yeah, on Instagram, my handle is Jacqui_Drew04, and I post my experiences, some tips, tricks, anything really that I feel pulled to just sharing there. I'm in the process of building my website, so once that is live, once that's live, that will be on my Instagram.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I hear that sneaky, peeky behind the scenes, you've got some amazing things brewing. Is there anything you can kind of like drip feed our way so we know what's coming up?
Yeah, so I have in the pipelines a couple of things that I would just love to share with women. I have a group coaching package that's coming out, a 4-week group coaching package where we dive into morning rituals and beliefs that are holding us back and embody steps in self-love. I have a half-day workshop. I don't know if it's a workshop, retreat, something like that coming up as well.
In person?
Yeah.
Amazing.
An in-person event where we dive into sort of meditations and ground into who we are beneath who we are, I guess. There's so many layers to each and every person, you're more than a mum, you're more than a worker, you're more than a wife.
Oh,
so it's really getting under those layers.
And I think, I know this year's been chaotic for doing things like in-person events, but I do really believe that there's that need to have still the both, that you need to have, not just, as you say, the beautiful way you can share your wisdom with people in an online space, which is so powerful because people can do it from home anytime, like rock up in your pajamas, right?
Yeah.
Which is so what I'm here for. Like,
me too.
But I do think there is so much need for people like yourself to be able to share your power in person as well, because as we all know, that transformational experience needs to come to where people are as well, because I think for many people, and this is again the beauty of human design, that there'll be many people who get so much more powerful value out of in person, and then equally there's people who will get so much more power out of that group environment, that online space. So I love that you're bringing both. I really appreciate you for that.
And I guess both of these offerings that I have sort of in the pipeline are based on experiences that myself have been through. Again, feeling really unconfident, overwhelmed, and scared to show up to these types of places alone, especially.
Yeah.
It's very heavy on your confidence. And so when you do turn up to these things and go, you know what, I am going to put myself first, I can fucking do this.
Yeah.
And you show up for yourself and you leave feeling so fucking good and empowered that you're like, I got this. Like, I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want people and women to like feel and know.
Oh, I love that. And I really honor you for sharing that as well, because like you say, how powerful is that to be able to hold space for those women who, as you say, might be afraid to come on their own, afraid to step out of their comfort zone, afraid to move beyond that sort of security blanket of, as you say, codependency or whatever. But you can stand there and say, look, I've been there. I know exactly how you feel and have been through myself.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty of it, because that's where you can really shine and go, you know what? I have been through everything, every emotion and feeling
Yeah.
and moment of being afraid that you've been through. And that just holds space beautifully for so many people who are in that same boat right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Because it is really scary the unknown is scary. To step outside your comfort zone is fucking scary. And yeah, I've been there, done that. And I still have those moments. But definitely not as much. But holding that space for women to know that I've been there, I know what they're feeling, I know what they're going through, and it's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's the power of the 3 line, right, in your profile of going, you know what? This shit doesn't go away. For a lot of people who are living 3 line, lives, they might go, oh yeah, I feel like I've ticked that box, I've done that thing, and then wonder why it comes back around again. And that's where you're able to say, hey, look, it is okay to still go through the ups and downs, but we can keep moving. Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with my weight loss journey. I thought it was the weight loss, and I hit my goal weight and was like, why the fuck am I not happy? And it just is a constant circle. And it wasn't until I addressed what was going inside that made me go, okay, fuck, it's more than just weight, you know?
Yeah. And you're not a failure if you continue to have those ups and downs, right?
That's right.
Keep coming back around. Oh, so much goodness. Oh, I just love you. I am so excited to see everything that 2021 and beyond brings.
Oh my God.
And what you create, and like just that powerful Manny Jen goodness, sparkly energy.
Oh my God.
Very exciting. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your beautiful self.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And we will definitely be coming back around for another chat sometime in the future when we can just get even deeper into all these fantastic things you're here to share.
I've loved it. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you.
I loved recording that conversation. I hope you took away some golden nuggets of wisdom. Jacqui is amazing. I just cannot thank her enough for coming and sharing her honesty, her story, her vulnerable, beautiful shares that she was, able to just speak straight from her heart, and just so many permission slips. I just think it is just always mind-blowing to me to be able to share these conversations and to be able to dive into human design in real life. It is amazing. So thank you, dear friend, for listening in. If you loved this episode, please make sure to screenshot, tag me, tag Jacqui in it so she can see that you're listening. She would love to connect with you as well. And of course, as always, I will see you, dear friend, on the next episode.